welcome back to English Podcast Class.
We're really happy to have you with us today.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jessica.
Winter is a season full of contrasts, cold air, warm moments, quiet days, and memorable trips.
For some people, winter vacation means snowy mountains and outdoor adventures. For others, it's about slowing down, staying cozy, and enjoying simple comforts.
In today's episode, we'll help you talk about winter vacations in clear, natural English.
We'll explore plans, activities, food, feelings, and personal experiences you can easily share in conversation.
So get comfortable,
relax, and let's learn English together through winter stories.
Jessica, before we really dive into today's lesson, I want to share something I've noticed about traveling, especially in winter. Whenever I think about my most memorable trips, they almost always start with a small mistake, not a disaster, just something simple that went wrong and changed the experience.
That's so true. If everything goes exactly according to plan, the trip is nice, but the story is usually boring. It's those small problems that stay in your memory and give you something meaningful to talk about later.
Exactly. Winter trips are especially good at this because winter doesn't give you many second chances. If you're not prepared, you feel it immediately in your hands, your feet, your face.
And the funny thing is, most of these mistakes come from confidence. People think, I've traveled before. I know what I'm doing. Then winter shows up and proves them wrong.
I've done that more than once. I arrived at a cold destination feeling relaxed and proud of myself, and then, a few minutes later, I realized I had packed like it was a mild fall weekend instead of real winter.
Let me guess, you told yourself the weather forecast was exaggerating.
Of course I did, and of course I was wrong, but what's interesting is how easy that moment is to explain in English. You don't need complicated vocabulary. You can just say, I wasn't prepared for the cold, and everyone understands.
That's such an important point for English learners. Simple sentences can carry strong meaning, especially when they're connected to real experiences.
And mistakes naturally create stories. You have a clear sequence, what you planned, what actually happened, and what you learned afterward.
Which is perfect for practicing past tense without thinking too hard about grammar. You're just telling the story in order.
Another thing I love about winter mistakes is that they often become funny later. At the moment, you might feel uncomfortable or annoyed, but once the trip is over, you laugh about it.
And laughing at yourself is a great communication skill. It shows confidence and makes conversations feel relaxed and friendly.
For learners, this is powerful. You're not trying to impress anyone, you're just being honest.
And honesty makes English sound natural. When you talk about a small mistake, people listen because they recognize themselves in the story.
So instead of avoiding mistakes, learners can actually use them as learning tools.
Especially winter-related ones. Cold weather creates strong physical memories, and strong memories are easier to describe.
If you're listening right now, think about your last winter trip. Was there something you forgot, something you underestimated?
That small moment, whatever it was, is a perfect story to practice English with.
It doesn't need to be long or dramatic.
Just real, personal, and honest.
And that's often where confident speaking truly begins.
After talking about winter mistakes, I think there's another interesting angle we should explore. Even when people prepare perfectly, they still experience winter vacations very differently.
That's true. Two people can travel during the same season and come back with completely opposite feelings.
Exactly. For some people, winter is something to celebrate. They wait all year for snow, cold air, and mountains.
While for others, winter is something to escape from as quickly as possible.
And this difference is great for conversation practice because it invites opinions instead of facts.
Right. You're not arguing about what winter is. You're talking about how winter feels to you.
For example, some people love snowy destinations because everything feels quiet and peaceful. The world slows down, and that calm becomes part of the vacation.
I've noticed that too. Snow changes the atmosphere. Even simple activities feel more special.
But then you have people who hear winter vacation and immediately think about sunshine, warm water, and beaches.
They want to trade heavy coats for light clothes and forget about cold mornings entirely.
What's nice is that English learners don't need complex language to express this difference.
Not at all. You can say something simple like, I enjoy winter, or I prefer warm places during winter.
Those sentences are clear, personal, and very natural.
And once you share your preference, the conversation grows on its own.
People usually respond with a question or a reaction.
Really, why? Or I'm the opposite.
That back and forth is exactly what learners need to practice.
Another thing I like about this topic is that it removes pressure. There's no right answer.
Yes, you don't need to explain yourself perfectly.
You're just sharing how you experience the season.
And winter makes those feelings stronger. Cold, darkness, light, warmth, they all affect mood.
Which gives learners emotional vocabulary without forcing it.
Saying I feel more relaxed or I feel tired in winter is very natural.
And those feelings often connect to memories.
Childhood snow days, family trips, or quiet evenings at home.
Sharing memories helps learners practice past experiences without sounding like a lesson.
It becomes a conversation, not an exercise.
I also think talking about winter preferences helps learners learn to disagree politely.
That's a good point.
You can say, I understand why people like snow, but it's not for me.
That sentence shows respect and confidence at the same time.
And it sounds very natural in English.
So winter vacation becomes more than a travel topic.
It becomes a way to practice opinions, feelings, and polite differences.
And that's an important step toward real communication.
Exactly. When learners can share preferences comfortably,
They're no longer just answering questions.
they're participating. Now that we've talked about different ways people experience winter, I think it naturally leads to what people actually do during winter vacation.
Yes, because activities often shape how we remember a trip. Even small activities can leave a strong impression.
And what I like about winter activities is that you don't have to be an expert to talk about them.
That's such an important point. Many learners think they need impressive experiences to have interesting conversations.
But in reality, saying I tried it once or I'm not very good at it sounds very natural.
Exactly. Winter activities invite honesty. You can talk about what you enjoy and what you avoid.
For example, skiing and snowboarding often come up in winter conversations.
Yes, but you don't have to be skilled. You can simply say, I tried skiing, but it was harder than I expected.
That sentence alone can lead to a long conversation.
People might ask what was difficult, how you felt, or whether you'd try again.
And suddenly, you're practicing English without realizing it.
Another thing I like is that winter activities create very clear images.
Ice skating, sledding, walking through snow, everyone can picture that.
Visual language helps learners express themselves more confidently.
Even saying I fell a few times, but it was fun sounds very human.
And it shows attitude, not just action.
That's key. Conversations aren't about listing activities.
They're about how those activities made you feel.
Winter activities often come with mixed emotions,
Excitement, fear, frustration, pride.
and those emotions are great for language practice.
You can say, at first I was nervous, but then I enjoyed it.
That structure works for many experiences, not just winter.
I also like that winter activities vary in intensity.
Right? Some people love fast physical activities,
Others prefer slower, calmer ones.
and both choices are equally valid in conversation.
Saying, I prefer something relaxing sounds just as natural as, I love adventure.
That flexibility helps learners express personality.
And personality is what makes conversations interesting.
Another benefit is learning how to describe limits.
What do you mean?
Saying things like, that's not really for me, or I tried it, but it wasn't my thing.
Those phrases are incredibly useful.
They help learners set boundaries politely.
And they appear in many conversations beyond travel.
Winter activities are just the starting point.
They give learners a safe topic to practice self-expression.
Without pressure to be perfect.
Or impressive.
Just honest and present.
And that honesty is what builds real communication skills.
So whether you ski, skate, walk, or just watch the snow,
You always have something to talk about.
and that's what makes winter vacation such a great language topic.
When we talk about winter activities, I think there's one topic that quietly decides whether the trip is enjoyable or miserable.
Let me guess what you wear.
Exactly. Winter doesn't really care how excited you are. If you're dressed wrong, you'll feel it immediately.
That's so true. I've learned that winter clothing isn't about style, it's about survival and comfort.
And that's why this topic is perfect for English learners. It's practical, and everyone can relate to it.
When people talk about winter clothes, they usually focus on one idea, staying warm without feeling uncomfortable.
Which naturally leads to the idea of wearing multiple pieces instead of one heavy jacket.
Right. Dressing in layers sounds simple, but it solves many problems at once.
You can explain it very clearly in English, too. You wear several thin layers so you can adjust as your environment changes.
For example, when you're outside, you keep everything on. When you go inside, you remove one or two layers.
That flexibility is important, especially when you're moving between cold outdoor air and warm indoor spaces.
I also like that this topic teaches useful verbs without trying too hard.
Putting on, taking off, staying dry, keeping warm, these are everyday actions.
And winter gives learners a reason to talk about them.
Another thing people often forget to mention is comfort.
Yes, being warm is one thing, but being warm and comfortable is another.
Tight clothes, wet clothes, or heavy shoes can ruin your mood very quickly.
That's when conversations shift from weather to physical feeling.
Saying I was warm but uncomfortable adds depth to the story.
And it shows learners how to describe subtle differences.
Winter clothing also introduces cause and effect.
How so?
If you don't dress properly, you get cold. If you get cold, you stop enjoying the trip.
That's a very clear chain of logic.
And it's easy to explain in simple English.
Another useful angle is preparation.
Yes, winter teaches people to think ahead.
Checking the weather, packing carefully, choosing the right materials.
Those actions naturally turn into conversation topics.
I learned to pack better next time is a very common sentence.
And it sounds natural because it comes from experience.
I also think winter clothing is a safe topic to give advice.
That's true. Advice feels less personal when it's about clothes.
You can say, I always bring extra socks without sounding judgmental.
And the listener usually appreciates it.
For learners, giving advice in English builds confidence.
Because you're not just describing, you're helping.
And that changes how you feel when you speak.
You feel useful, not tested.
Exactly. Winter clothing might seem like a small topic.
But it opens the door to clear explanations, advice, and shared experience.
And that's what good conversation is built on. After talking about clothing and preparation, I think there's another winter concept that often surprises people.
You mean the idea that cold isn't just a number?
Exactly. Many people look at the temperature and think they understand how it will feel, but winter often proves them wrong.
That's such an important realization. 2 days can have the same temperature and feel completely different.
And learners hear people say things like, it doesn't feel that cold, or it feels much colder than yesterday.
Which can be confusing if you only think about numbers.
What people are really talking about is physical sensation.
How the air feels on your skin, your face, your hands.
Wind plays a big role in that.
Yes, wind can completely change the experience of cold.
You might check the temperature and feel confident, but once the wind starts blowing, everything changes.
That's why people talk about how cold feels, not just how cold it is.
And this is great for English learners because it introduces descriptive language naturally.
Instead of saying, it's very cold, you can say, the wind makes it feel colder.
That small change makes your English sound more natural and more precise.
Winter conversations often include comparisons, too.
Right. People say things like, today feels colder than yesterday.
Or, it's not as cold as I expected.
Those comparisons help learners practice structure without memorizing rules.
You're just reacting to what your body feels.
I also think winter makes people more aware of their limits.
How so?
In cold weather, you quickly learn how long you can stay outside.
That's true. Your body tells you when it's time to go back inside.
And that creates very natural sentences.
Like, after 30 minutes, I couldn't feel my fingers anymore.
Or, we decided to go inside because it was too cold.
Those sentences explain decisions, not just conditions.
Which is an important communication skill.
Winter also teaches people to talk about safety.
Yes, cold can be uncomfortable, but it can also be dangerous.
So people naturally warn each other.
Be careful. Don't stay outside too long. Cover your face.
Advice like that feels normal in winter.
And learners can practice giving advice without sounding strange.
Because the situation clearly calls for it.
I also noticed that people use stronger language in winter.
Words like freezing or bitter.
Even if the temperature isn't extreme.
That exaggeration shows emotion.
And emotion is what makes language memorable.
So winter helps learners move beyond simple facts.
They start describing experience,
Sensation,
reaction.
and choice.
Instead of just saying, it was cold,
They can say, it looked fine, but once the wind hit my face, I realized how cold it really was.
that's real English.
And winter gives learners endless chances to practice it. After talking about cold and wind, I think it's important to remember that winter vacations aren't always about being outside.
I agree. Sometimes winter actually pushes people indoors, and that completely changes the experience.
Yes, there are days when the weather is so harsh that going outside just isn't enjoyable anymore.
And that's when indoor moments become the highlight of the trip.
What I like about this is that it teaches learners a different kind of language.
Not action language, but atmosphere language.
Exactly. Words about comfort, mood, and togetherness.
One situation that comes up a lot in winter is being unable to leave because of heavy snow,
Being stuck inside can sound negative at first.
but it often turns into something memorable.
When people talk about these moments, they usually describe how time slowed down.
No rushing, no schedules, just being present.
And that creates space for simple activities.
Board games, conversations, reading, cooking together,
These aren't dramatic activities, but they're meaningful.
and they're very easy to talk about in English.
You can say, we stayed inside all day and just relaxed.
Or, we spent the evening talking and playing games.
Those sentences sound natural and complete.
Another thing I notice is how winter indoor time changes relationships.
How so?
When you're inside together for a long time, you actually talk more.
That's true. Phones are used less and conversations last longer.
People share stories, memories, and ideas.
And that leads to deeper connections.
From a language perspective, that's very interesting.
Because conversations become slower and more thoughtful.
Learners can take their time.
They don't feel rushed to respond quickly.
Another important part of indoor winter experiences is contrast.
Contrast between outside and inside.
Cold versus warmth.
Silence outside, laughter inside.
That contrast gives learners a clear structure to describe experiences.
You can say, outside was freezing, but inside felt warm and cozy.
That kind of sentence paints a picture.
Winter also introduces the idea of preparing for indoor time.
Bringing food, games, or books.
Those details make stories richer.
And they don't require complex vocabulary.
Simple words, used thoughtfully.
I also think indoor winter moments teach patience.
That's an interesting point.
You learn to accept the situation instead of fighting it.
And acceptance changes the story from negative to positive.
Instead of saying, we were stuck, you say, we made the most of it.
That shift in perspective is powerful.
And it's great practice for expressive English.
Winter teaches learners that not every experience needs action.
Sometimes the best stories come from staying still
And listening,
and talking.
which is exactly what good conversation is about.
When we talk about staying indoors during winter, there's one element that always seems to bring people together.
Food.
Exactly. Winter food is very different from food in other seasons.
Yes, because it's not just about taste. It's about warmth and comfort.
I noticed that during winter vacations, people talk about food in a much more emotional way.
That's true. Food becomes part of the experience, not just something you eat.
After a cold day, a warm meal feels like a reward.
And that feeling is easy to describe, even with simple English.
You can say, it warmed me up, or it made me feel better.
Those sentences communicate emotion, not just information.
Winter also changes the kinds of food people crave.
Heavier meals, warm soups, slow-cooked dishes.
Food that fills you up and helps you relax.
Talking about these meals helps learners describe preferences naturally.
Saying, I love warm food in winter sounds very natural.
And it often leads to sharing traditions.
Family recipes, special drinks, meals people only eat in winter.
Those traditions carry memory and culture.
Which makes conversations richer.
Another thing I like is how food connects to routine.
How so?
Hot drinks in the morning or evening become a habit.
Tea, coffee, hot chocolate.
Those small rituals give structure to winter days.
And they're very easy to talk about.
You can say, every night we sat by the window with hot drinks.
That sentence paints a clear picture.
Food also creates moments of sharing.
Cooking together, eating together, sitting around a table.
Those moments slow people down.
And slowing down changes how people communicate.
Conversations become calmer and longer.
Which is perfect for language practice.
Learners don't need to rush.
They can describe taste, feeling, and atmosphere.
Even saying, it smelled amazing adds depth.
Winter food also teaches contrast.
Cold outside, warm inside.
Simple contrast, but very expressive.
And learners can practice this contrast easily.
I also think food helps people feel grounded.
Yes, when you're warm and full, everything feels easier.
Including speaking another language.
That's a great point.
Comfort lowers anxiety.
And lower anxiety leads to better communication.
So winter food isn't just about eating.
It's about feeling safe, relaxed, and connected.
And those feelings support confident English.
Which is exactly what we want for our listeners. After talking about comfort and food, there's another side of winter vacation that people don't always enjoy, but it matters a lot.
You mean planning and money?
Exactly. Winter trips can become expensive very quickly if you're not careful.
Especially during certain times of the year when everyone wants to travel at the same time.
Yes, holidays and school breaks often make prices go up.
And this is actually a great topic for English learners because it introduces very practical language.
Talking about cost, timing, and choices is something people do all the time in real life.
What I like is that these conversations don't need complicated numbers or details.
You can simply say, it was too expensive, or we wanted to save money.
Those sentences are clear and natural.
Planning also forces people to make decisions.
Where to stay, how long to go, and what to prioritize.
Winter adds pressure because conditions can change quickly.
Which makes flexibility very important.
I've noticed that people often talk about choosing quieter places in winter.
Places that are not crowded or overly commercial.
Exactly. Staying somewhere quieter often feels more relaxing.
And it's easier to talk about that choice in English than people expect.
You can say, we chose a smaller place because we wanted peace and quiet.
That sentence explains both the decision and the feeling behind it.
Another common topic is accommodation.
Hotels, shared places, or private rentals.
Winter travelers often prefer places where they can cook or relax together.
That choice often connects back to comfort and budget.
Yes, cooking some meals yourself saves money and creates shared moments.
Planning also includes thinking ahead.
About weather, transportation, and safety.
And winter teaches people to prepare more carefully.
Which leads to advice-based conversations.
Like saying, next time I would plan differently.
Or, if I go again, I'll choose another time of year.
Those sentences are perfect for practicing reflection.
And reflection makes conversations feel thoughtful.
Another useful skill learners practice here is compromise.
That's true. Travel planning is rarely perfect for everyone.
People balance budget, comfort, and experience.
Talking about that balance sounds very natural.
And it mirrors how people speak outside of language lessons.
Winter vacation planning shows learners that English isn't just for stories,
It's for decisions, adjustments, and problem solving.
which are real-life skills.
And when learners can talk about those topics comfortably,
They feel more confident using English in daily situations,
not just on vacation.
but everywhere.
After all the planning and practical decisions, there's one part of winter vacation that stays with people long after the trip ends.
The memories.
Exactly. Winter has a special way of making moments feel stronger and more meaningful.
I think that's because winter slows everything down.
Yes, the cold, the quiet, the shorter days, they all create space to notice details.
And those details often turn into memories people love talking about later.
What's interesting is that many of these memories aren't about big events,
They're about small moments.
like standing outside at night surrounded by snow with everything completely quiet.
Or watching light change on the snow in the morning.
Those moments are hard to photograph perfectly.
But they're easy to describe with feeling.
And that's great for English learners.
Because you don't need advanced vocabulary to talk about calm or beauty.
You can say, it felt peaceful, or everything looked different.
Those sentences are simple but powerful.
Winter also invites reflection
Yes, people think more during winter.
about the year, their routines, and what they want next.
And vacations give them the time to do that.
Talking about reflection introduces deeper language.
Not dramatic, but thoughtful.
For example, saying, the trip helped me slow down.
Or, it made me appreciate simple things.
Those sentences show growth, not just activity.
Winter also creates strong visual memories.
Snow-covered trees, frozen lakes, empty streets.
And learners can practice describing scenes,
Using contrast, light, and atmosphere.
saying, everything was white and quiet, paints a clear picture.
Another thing I notice is how winter memories are often shared slowly.
People don't rush through them.
They pause, think, and choose their words.
That slower pace is perfect for language practice.
Learners feel less pressure to respond quickly.
And more freedom to express feeling.
Reflection also connects the past to the present.
You remember the trip, but you talk about how it changed you.
That's a powerful storytelling skill,
And winter naturally supports that kind of story.
because it feels separate from everyday life,
Almost like a quiet space outside normal time.
which makes memories feel deeper.
For learners, this means winter vacation isn't just a topic.
It's a chance to practice meaningful English.
English that connects experience, emotion, and reflection.
And those connections make language stick.
Long after the trip and the lesson are over. After talking about memories and reflection, I think it's a good moment to step back and look at the bigger picture.
Yes, because winter vacation is more than trips, food, or activities.
It's really about how people slow down and reconnect.
Reconnect with themselves, with others, and with everyday life.
And that's why winter vacation works so well as a language topic.
Everyone has a story, even if they didn't travel far.
Staying home, resting, or changing routines still counts.
What matters is the experience, not the distance.
I like that winter gives people permission to pause.
To step away from constant movement,
And when people pause, they often start talking.
about what they enjoyed
What they learned.
and what they want to do differently next time,
Those conversations are honest and personal.
which makes English sound natural, not forced.
For learners, this is important.
Because confidence doesn't come from perfect sentences.
It comes from sharing real thoughts.
Winter vacation topics help learners do that.
They provide structure without pressure,
You can talk about the past, the present, or the future.
all within one familiar theme.
I also think winter creates a sense of community.
Yes, people all over the world experience winter differently.
But the feelings are often similar.
Wanting warmth,
Wanting rest.
wanting connection.
And when learners talk about those feelings, they connect with others.
Even across cultures and languages.
That's one of the most powerful parts of learning English.
It's not just about vocabulary.
It's about understanding and being understood.
So as we come to the end of today's episode,
We'd like to invite you to do something simple.
think about one winter moment that stayed with you.
It doesn't have to be special or exciting.
Just something that felt real.
Try to describe that moment in a few sentences,
You can say it out loud to yourself,
or write it down somewhere.
or share it with someone you trust.
The goal isn't correctness.
It's expression.
And practice.
Little moments like that build confidence over time.
And confidence changes how you use English.
We're really glad you spent this time with us today.
Thank you for learning with English Podcast Class.
Keep listening, keep practicing.
And keep finding simple moments worth talking about.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Until then, take care.
And enjoy the season wherever you are.